What's up, you guys? It's Dallas again, Chaos Fragrances. Today we're back with another fragrance review. This one is going to be on the king of men's fragrances, so it's known in the community. Everyone knows what this fragrance is. It's probably one of the most creative fragrances that's been released for men. Today we're going to be talking about Creed's Aventus. Aventus. Before we get started though, guys, make sure you like this video. It really helps out with engagement on my channel. Also subscribe and turn on post notifications so you don't miss when I post. And with that, let's go ahead and get right into the review. So a few videos back, I asked you guys in a poll which fragrance I should review next, and this won by a long shot. So I feel like I don't really need to describe how this smells because, again, like I said, this is a very popular fragrance. Even if people haven't smelled it, I'm sure they know what it's made up of because it's talked about so much. You're mainly going to get pineapple, apple, some kind of birch, musk, a little bit of woodsiness as well. The newer batches here aren't as smoky as the older batches. Like the older batches are known for its really smokiness. This is 17N01, which obviously a 2017 batch, and it's really not smoky. And you aren't really going to get that smokiness with any of the newer batches. You need to go way back to the older batches to get that. So it's not really smoky. There's something about this juice that when you smell it, it just screams class. It screams masculinity. I remember the first time I smelled this, I was blown away. And, you know, it led me to trying out some different clones because I really didn't feel like paying the money to get the real thing at the time. So I tried out different clones, but it still just didn't give me the same feeling as this, the actual real thing. And the clones also didn't give me the same reactions as this thing did when I was testing it. Yeah, you've heard me talk about Club de Nuit Intense as getting a lot of compliments and stuff, which it does, but it still just doesn't have the Aventus touch. It just isn't Aventus, and there's something about when you smell Aventus, you know exactly what it is. And when you smell clones, you know that it's a clone, you know it's synthetic, you know that it's not as good. And by the way, I'm not going to make this whole video on how similar Club de Nuit Intense Man to Aventus is. That's going to be a topic for another video, one of my fragrant face-offs. Today I'm just going to focus on the actual real Aventus. But really, what you get out of this is something that you haven't really smelled before. It's something very unique. While still being mass-pleasing, still getting you a lot of positive feedback, and really just making you feel just awesome when you wear it, makes you feel awesome when you smell it. It's really kind of hard to find something that beats this in terms of the uniqueness, how unique it is, while still being really mass-pleasing, really highly complimented. And one thing to keep in mind with this fragrance, again, is it is very tiring to your nose. It will cause olfactory fatigue very quickly. So that's something to keep in mind. It's really kind of annoying when you see a lot of reviews online saying that the longevity sucks and this and that. It's not because the longevity sucks, it's just because you go anosmic to it really quickly. A lot of the people, I'm sure, are just haters and they're just running their mouth just because. And as far as batch variations go, I've found that pretty much any batch should last you at least 8 hours. As far as performance goes with the batch variations, any batch should last you at the minimum 8 hours. There are other certain batches that are a lot stronger than others. If you want to learn more about kind of the batches and stuff like that, definitely check out Aventus Lounge. It's on Facebook. I'll leave a link down below. Shout out to you guys, Derek, Connor, all the admins and stuff there. Definitely check out that group. Really awesome place. They know basically everything about Aventus batches. They even have a sticky post with all of the batches listed, and then people can comment on the different batches and just kind of give their idea on how they smell, performance and stuff like that. It's an awesome place. I spent a lot of time researching all the different batches and stuff, and it's ultimately why I felt comfortable with going with this fragrance. Also, make sure you guys stick around until the end of the video. I picked this stuff up for like I think 200 bucks online. So if you want some tips and stuff on how you can get a good deal on this stuff, definitely stick around till the end. But this batch kind of leans more towards the fruitier side, more towards the bright side compared to some other different batches out there. I'm really happy with this stuff. I'm happy with the performance so far. Really happy with how it smells. Really happy with the reactions I get. Which by the way, if you didn't know that already, this fragrance does get really good compliments, really good feedback. That's something that pretty much any review you go on to, you're gonna hear that, and it's true. So I'm not gonna spend too much time touching on the compliments. Just know it lives up to the hype. It lives up to its expectations of getting a lot of good attention. and we'll just kind of leave it at that. One thing I do want to discuss with this fragrance is actually the performance. It is known that with newer bottles, the performance isn't going to be as strong. It kind of has something to do with kind of a break-in period. Basically, the idea is when you first get your bottle and you spray it a few times, you basically allow air to get into the bottle, and then that can kind of start to age your juice so that it can open up, become a lot stronger, be a lot more rich. I have experienced that with other fragrances. It's not really something that's going to happen with synthetic fragrances, but when you're talking about fragrances that are made of quality natural ingredients like this, it is something that makes sense. Kind of similar to a wine, wine, alcohol, you age it and stuff. Kind of similar there, where once you let the bottle open up a little bit, performance will start to get better over a few weeks, a month or two, and the longer they sit, they do start to get richer. So that's something also to keep in mind along with olfactory fatigue when you're testing performance. Just know that if it's a brand new retail bottle like this, it may not be as strong as after the bottle's been broken in. And that's also why a lot of people say that decants of the same batch will smell different than spraying it directly from the bottle, because that decant has been exposed to air and it's allowed it to kind of open up and to mature. So that's something I wanted to throw out there. You can kind of do your own research. Whether or not you want to believe me is up to you. I know some people say, oh, that's BS, blah, blah, blah. Other people believe it. I tend to believe it. It makes sense to me. I'm rolling with it. You can do your own research, but let's kind of touch on, is this fragrance worth it? Because I know that's something a lot of people say, is it really worth paying that price? And at retail price, no, probably not. Like retail's like $400 something. Probably not worth it at that price unless you have a lot of money and you want to buy retail, but really it isn't. All right, but it is discounted at discounters for like $300. Which is a good option, but even better, the better place to get this stuff is, like I said, the Aventus Lounge on Facebook. Really good spot. Also, if you're in any of the fragrance groups like Fragrance Swap, stuff like that, people are usually kind of moving these Creed bottles around on there a lot. You'll see a lot of it go, especially obviously in the Aventus Lounge. You'll see a lot of Aventus being sold, swapped, or whatever, and you can find some really good deals of this stuff on there for really good prices. If you don't really care about the presentation and you just want to get the juice, there are a lot of people there who sell decants. I mean, you could probably get like a 50 ml decant of this stuff for the price of a designer fragrance, right? And that's crazy. If all you care about is the juice, you want the Aventus juice, you don't care about the presentation, you just want to smell good, you just want to pull the compliments, then go that route. I mean, stop buying designer fragrances, put that money towards a decant of this stuff. You won't be sorry that you did. So to quickly touch on how I got my bottle, basically someone posted in the Facebook group that this eBay seller was selling these bottles. The seller was actually selling Costco bottles. So I looked, you could see that they were still in the packaging that Costco puts them in, the plastic packaging. And so I kind of basically just went for it. I don't remember what they had them listed for. I was able to talk them down, and I think I ended up getting it for like $200 plus shipping, which was like ended up being $20, and it was also Canadian. I was on the Canadian eBay doing this, so there was like the conversion rate. So it ended up being about $225 for this full bottle, full presentation, everything. Obviously everything's legit, and that was a pretty good deal, I thought. So really couldn't pass it up. I think that person is probably sold out by now. And one thing I do want to make clear real quick, guys, I don't condone that you buy bottles off eBay unless you really know what you're talking about. There's fakes everywhere, so definitely don't do it unless you know what you're doing. In my case, I was doing a lot of research, and I also saw that again they were Costco bottles, and you can't really fake that. One thing you do want to look for though, when you pop the cap off, you want to make sure that the inside is white. You want a white ring, and when you pop off the sprayer, that's just one of the things to look for when you're looking to see if a bottle is legit. So make sure you ask the seller for kind of that type of view. Then there's other stuff you can look for on the bottle. I'm not going to get into that because I myself am not really an expert, but again, check out the lounge. They know everything about that type of stuff, but just kind of trying to give you some quick tips that I kind of learned when I was doing my research and when I finally picked up a bottle. So my final thoughts on this stuff, guys, this stuff is great. I think it's worth what I paid for it. I also think it's worth what it's going for on the discounter websites, like $300. Just the problem with that is you don't know really what batch you're getting. If you're someone that doesn't really care about batches, then go for it. But I was kind of curious about which batch I would be getting and doing the research, which is why I decided to not go that route. And also, guys, I don't know if you noticed the setting. I'm outside again today. It was like 50 degrees. It went from being like 10 degrees up to 50 today, the past week. So I decided I'd come out here. And also just because this fragrance does kind of remind me of the outdoors, kind of being out in the woods. because it's got this masculine nature to it, and I thought it would be a good setting. Alright guys, I think that's going to do it for this video. That was my review on Creed's Aventus batch 17 and 01. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like it, subscribe for more content, also turn on post notifications so you don't miss when I post. A few people have been asking me if I have plans for a Patreon, and I really don't at this time. The best way you can support me is, one, to obviously engage on my videos, share the videos, like the videos, stuff like that. But another thing you can do is also buy through my affiliate links that I leave down below, and you can also grab a t-shirt. I'll leave a link to that. You can check out, they're pretty cool. Helps me out too. So again, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace. Which, by the way,